excited to be here today and thank you for joining us. I want to thank everyone, advocates and Ring, for joining us here today. I'm proud that my administration has played a role in facilitating the connection between these two organizations. President Joe Biden described domestic violence or intimate partner violence as a pandemic within a pandemic. And we see that reflected in St. Louis. The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department received more domestic disturbance calls last year than in the previous 5 years. COVID-19 played a major part, keeping people in their homes for a good portion of the year. And that's why initiatives like this are so important. Preventing domestic violence is a key part of public safety. We often see domestic abuse situations escalate even further to even more dangerous and harmful situations once a survivor leaves the relationship. These Ring devices will provide safety and peace of mind to help survivors begin their healing journeys without fear. In October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I hosted a roundtable with domestic violence advocates, including Safe Connections, and partners from across the city to learn more on how my administration could support the work that's being done to end intimate partner and sexual violence. We held a follow-up town hall on this issue to bring the public into this discussion. I heard from all advocates about the need to take a holistic approach to address domestic violence in our communities. And that means using all of the tools in the toolbox to keep people safe. For over 40 years, Safe Connections has been a committed leader and advocate in to help prevent and end domestic abuse and sexual violence in the St. Louis metropolitan community. Serving over 20,000 individuals a year, Safe Connections has a proven track record of saving and changing lives. Ring will be donating 1,000 video doorbells to Safe Connections clients to help them stay safe in their homes. I'm proud to share that my administration played an integral part in facilitating the connection between these two organizations. We are here today because this is a part of reimagining public safety. It's using innovative techniques and tangible tools to help people who need it most. Addressing the root causes of crime, like preventing domestic violence, makes our communities safer, protects residents, and empowers survivors to live a full, rewarding life. As mayor, I want everyone in St. Louis to thrive regardless of the color of their skin, who they love, or how they worship, or any identity they hold. And for all of us to feel safe in our homes, no matter our past experiences. Thank you to Safe Connections for all of the work you do to make St. Louis a safer home for everyone. And thank you to Ring for donating devices for this extremely worthy initiative. And now I'll turn it over to Cynthia Danley for her remarks.
Thank you, Mayor. Since 1976, Safe Connections has been supporting survivors of domestic violence. It all began with social work students from Brown School putting a phone in a dorm room, and thus our crisis hotline was born. Today, we still utilize that same number for our 24-hour crisis helpline, but our services also include the 24-hour crisis helpline, which includes text line support. That's something that we added earlier this year. We have our individual and group therapy. We also have our prevention education, which is implemented in the schools and other youth-serving entities. We have the privilege of serving close to 20,000 individuals each year throughout these programs. We believe the Ring initiative represents an incredible tool to enhance safety planning and to help add added comfort to those survivors who are experiencing ongoing safety anxieties. The Ring video doorbells and security cameras are an added tool to safety planning, which can include emergency transportation as well as emergency shelter and other community resources. Individuals have an opportunity to receive these Ring devices, which include a lifetime subscription for protection for the life of each device. In order to receive these Ring devices, individuals must, one, have access to stable home internet service with a secured Wi-Fi connection. Hotspot technology will not work with these devices. They must have a smartphone device to download and support the Ring app to interact with the camera system. They cannot reside in the same home as their abuser. And the last thing, they must be a current or new Safe Connections client. So this includes those individuals that are already in our individual and group therapy programs, and those callers and texters to our crisis helpline to where that support is warranted. We didn't want to leave out our youth. So it's also included in our prevention education program, where our prevention educators are in the school and the other youth serving organization where those families, where it's warranted in that safety planning with that family. As we introduced this initiative to our clients, one of our therapists shared this anecdote. The sheer relief of my client's face when I explained the Ring Doorbell initiative is indescribable. My client had been living in fear and feeling very down, and these intense feelings were taking a toll on her. Knowing that she would be safer and more secure filled her with hope and drastically improved her mental well-being. She was so appreciative, and I could hear and see the changes in her mood after I told her about the Ring Doorbell. I am incredibly grateful for this initiative, and it is already making a huge difference in the lives of those clients and those we serve. This really warmed my heart, because this is the whole purpose of this initiative, to make our clients and the community feel a little bit more secure and add to our safety planning practices. I look forward to receiving more feedback like this from our clients as they share their experience with the Ring doorbells and the safety and the stick-up cameras. I will turn it over now to Carla Torres from Ring.
Could we get the spelling of your name?
Cynthia Danley, D-A-N-L-E-Y,
And you're the executive director,
interim CEO.
interim CEO?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you to Mayor Jones and to the team at Safe Connections. Thank you so much, Cynthia. My name is Carla Torres, and I am the Community Programs Manager at Ring. First and foremost, I want to extend our sincere gratitude, Cynthia, to you and your team for having us here at this event today. Over the last few months, it's been an absolute privilege to connect with Cynthia here on a weekly basis and learn more about Safe Connections' great work here in St. Louis. Our team looks forward to continuing the dialogue around community safety and advancing Safe Connections' mission. I'm particularly honored to be on site today at Safe Connections, as it's one of St. Louis's oldest and largest organizations working to prevent and end domestic and sexual violence. And I know Mayor Jones is also extremely dedicated to your work in building a St. Louis that is safe and free from violence. Safe Connections services in prevention education, crisis intervention, and therapy make a big and immeasurable difference here for families and the health of local communities. Cynthia and her team at Safe Connections work hard day in and day out to provide comprehensive expert services that are available 24/7. And we've learned how Ring devices can supplement the ways the organization works to increase the safety of survivors. As an expert organization, we know Cynthia and her team will use this Ring device donation to supplement the safety tools available to respond to different survivor needs. Our Ring team works to bring peace of mind to all members of a community, and we believe in community members coming together to advance and make neighborhoods safer, like we are here today. We hope that this donation helps make a difference for individuals and families here in the greater St. Louis metro. But we also know that this is just one of the many ways Safe Connections therapists, crisis hotline staff, and advocates can support survivors. Because we want to further extend Safe Connections' positive impact in the community, Ring today is also announcing a $20,000 donation to the organization.
Oh, wow.
We're proud to support Safe Connections in advancing their positive impact and building a stronger, safer St. Louis. And we look forward to learning more from your team, Cynthia. Thank you all so much.
Quick question, what's the approximate value of the devices that you're donating?
Happy to connect you with our Ring PR team. They'll have a more exact amount.
And how
Yes.
do we spell your last name?
T as in Tom, O-R-R-E-S.
Yes.
And Carla with a K.
When will the cameras start being installed at the houses of the people who, or living places of people who are eligible for them? When is this expected to launch, or has it already launched?
It's kind of already launched because our staff, our therapists, prevention educators, and our crisis helpline has already been talking to clients or new potential clients in safety planning. So we expect the devices to be on site later this week, no later than early next week, and we will start distribution at that time.
Okay. And so you keep mentioning safety planning and how this can all fit in. How specifically can a Ring camera enhance the feeling of security for some of your clients? How do you think that'll help them? How is that part of their plan?
This was a very easy part of the safety planning for me because I own a Ring camera and the camera and the doorbell. And so what that will do is allow, when someone is if it's installed at their residence, they look on their phone, and I didn't bring my phone with me, but your phone rings. It has this specific chime, and they can see who's at their door. And that allows them to see, one, if they want to go answer the door, allows them, if it's the abuser or someone that they are not comfortable with, they can contact law enforcement to intervene, to come or whatever. And it just gives that extra sense of safety and support so that you don't have to go to the door and open the door to see who's there.
Some of what you mentioned is required of these clients, for example, secure internet may not be something that everyone has the privilege to access. How do you get over sort of that hurdle that, a secure, stable internet connection may not be something that a domestic violence victim has?
Well, now, being a United Way allocated agency, we have a lot of partnerships with other organizations and relationships with other organizations who can work with clients to get them that secure internet, even if it's at a discounted rate or things of that nature, so to help them do that. The unfortunate thing is that the cameras and devices will not work, or the hotspots do not provide that stable internet connection that they would need.
Cynthia, how did this idea come about? Was it something that survivors voiced, or how did this idea come about to implement this new plan?
This actually, I will let the mayor answer that.
Yes, I received a call from, or a contact from Amazon. A colleague of mine that works at Amazon told us that this program was available, and so we decided to try to find an organization to partner with Ring and Amazon to do this distribution.
Does this help also with orders of protection? I'm assuming in court, having this evidence that this person might be violating an order of protection too.
I think so. I mean, like I said, it's a tool for that survivor to be able to utilize. Now, even though Ring is donating these devices, no information, clients are not required to share any information with Ring or the police. This is at that individual's or the client's discretion as to what they want to do. That's totally up to them.
So this $20,000 donation that you just received, you're at the end of the year. Obviously, this is brand new news to you, but what's your initial reaction to that?
Joy, first and foremost. It's definitely unexpected, and I will get with my management team on Thursday morning. We meet every Thursday morning to see, hey, what can we do for our clients with these additional funds, especially unexpected funds. It allows us to do something positive, something great for our clients, solely for our clients. So we will be discussing that Thursday morning. I'll give them a heads up today, though.
I just had a clarifying question. It seems obvious, but I just want to be sure. So when the camera takes the picture of who's ever in front of the door, it pops up on your phone, the picture, I assume? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
It gets a little.
It seemed obvious, but I wanted to be
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't think it's a picture. You can just see, I mean,
Well,
it's
the
actual
camera,
video.
that's what I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah,
I didn't
it'll
think
show up on your camera.
It's live, in other words.
Yes, it's
So
alive.
Mayor, you mentioned a couple times you playing that critical role. It sounds like from what Cynthia was saying, you knew someone who knew something and could pass that information on to Ms. Danley.
Yes, and might I also mention that St. Louis is not the only recipient of this donation. Kansas City recently did theirs, I think, about a year ago. And so there are other cities that have these partnerships as well in place.
I know Mayor Jones talked about the increase in calls in the last 2 years. How helpful has the text line been? I mean, has that been something, can you explain a little about the latest update? that the
Yeah,
implemented?
and you know, I said the pandemic was, you know, a double-edged sword, but we had Safe Connections as an organization had been talking about text line support for our 24-hour crisis helpline, and that just, the pandemic made it happen sooner. And we realized, because one of our concerns during this pandemic was that with our youth. And we know that our youth, they want to text. But our prevention educators who would be in the schools were out. And so they could not lay eyes on the students. And so we were really, really concerned about students. And that text line just added a whole lot more opportunities for interaction with us, with survivors and with our youth, because a survivor may not have been able to get away and make a private phone call to call our crisis helpline, but they may be able to get a text. They may be able to do a text. And so the text line has been working absolutely great. We're in the process of ramping that up to 24 hours, to just like our crisis helpline where you call in. Yeah.
And just to make sure we understand what the donation is, it's 1,000 of the camera doorbell, and then the subscription is for as long as the device lasts, or if they have to like get a new device, does that subscription then continue, or? I don't know if that's probably a question for Carla.
Do you wanna-
Yeah, I'll take this one. So the donation is 1,000 up to 1,000 Ring video doorbells and stick-up cameras. So it's two
Okay.
types of devices, and they each come with a Ring Basic Protect subscription plan. So that allows folks to be able to keep the video recordings for up to 60 days. And so that can also, if we have a survivor that's moving from, you know, one home to another, they can take the device with them, and the subscription will also go along with
So
them
it's
as well.
1,000 cameras total, just based on whatever works the best for their individual property, basically? or-
Exactly, and,
Okay.
and we are leading on Safe Connections to take the lead and let us know the breakdown of how many of those devices they need.
Any other questions?
I just had a quick one for the mayor, a different subject, about the districting. I realize the city councilor's doing a review of it, I realize that. But you had said early on, you'd asked the Board of Aldermen, the committee, to make sure they have a lot of public input, and you had some parameters. Have you been satisfied with the level of public input they did?
I am satisfied. Obviously, there have been 5 more iterations after the first map. And you can tell that they have taken a lot of community input in how those maps have changed from the first iteration. So it sounds like they are listening to and having the community involved in those decisions.
Any thing you want to say about the plan so far? Has the councilor weighed in yet? I haven't checked.
The counselor has not weighed
Still
in
working on
yet,
it.
still waiting on some additional information. So as soon as the city councilor has weighed in on it, then I'll have an opinion.
Okay, at this point, you don't want to say which way, are you leaning towards approving
As
it,
soon
or-
as the city
Okay.
councilor
Yeah, yeah.
weighs in, I'll have an opinion.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Mayor, on the Omicron variant, are we gonna be doing anything different coming up as a city?
No, we are not. We still have a mask mandate that's in place, and that gets reauthorized every 30 days by the Board of Aldermen. And it has been reauthorized by unanimous vote every time. So I thank the aldermen for that. And at this point, we don't see any changes in our current outlook. We will still ask people to get vaccinated, to stay masked up, to stay social distanced, and wash their hands.
Also, the amount of money you get from the feds on the whole, what do you call it, PPP money or whatever, how are we doing that? Are we getting another influx of that at all?
On ARPA, you mean?
On our, yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, the first tranche hit our bank account in April of this year, and so the second one is expected to hit in May of next year.
Have we had any decisions made on how you guys are gonna use all that?
Well, the first 135 million was in a bill that was passed by the Board of Aldermen in July. So we are steadily making sure that the RFPs are out. Most of them are out now. And also December 18th, the portal will open for people to get their $500 relief payments.
And how are we doing on the city's employee vaccine mandate? Are most people complying? Is anyone left because of that mandate?
As far as I know, we haven't had any terminations, but I do know that at least 80% of city employees are vaccinated, and those who are not vaccinated who have declared their status are getting tested weekly.
Alderman Davis the other day introduced that proposal to put on the election ballot in April. I think it was $50 million bond issue. You're familiar with it.
Mhm.
What's your opinion of it?
It's a standard thing that we have to do every year to make sure that we don't have to raise taxes. So that's why Alderwoman Davis introduced that bill in conjunction with the Comptroller's Office.
But you support it?
Yes.
So you support putting it on the ballot, and then the next question would be, would you urge people to vote for it? I think that's it.
I would urge people to vote for it. A lot of our capital projects are in that bill, so we have to continue to fix our roads and bridges and repair our infrastructure because we still don't yet know how the money from the infrastructure bill is going to be allocated and/or how we're going to apply for it. There are several programs that the president and the administration has to stand up relating to infrastructure through the Department of Transportation. So this allows us to handle some more immediate capital projects in the near future.
What do you think is the most important capital project to do once we get that?
I have a list. I can't say which.
Is there like a bridge or something that absolutely has to be done now?
There are several roads and bridges that have been identified by BPS, as well as our water department. There's a $400 million price tag to upgrade our water division. So those are the things that I am pretty concerned about right now.
Mayor, I realize the bond issue doesn't carry a tax increase, so it would be
Does not.
neutral in that respect. On the other hand, it could be a slight tax decrease. I don't know what the amount would be if you didn't do it. Given the fact all this money is coming into the city, the ARPA money, but you still haven't spent all of it yet, and more is next year, and then infrastructure money, some money from the RAM settlement. Is it really needed? I guess that's the question.
Well, I think that's a question you should ask the comptroller.
Okay.
All right, thank you all very much. I think we're gonna be